Hello all and welcome back. I hope you're all doing really well. This is another HBAR update and also a bit of news on Quant at the end of this video as well, as I've seen some comments mentioned about it previously. First things first, there's a big piece of news regarding one of the governing council members of Hedera, and it being here, Eftpos. Now, Eftpos stands for Electronic Transfer Funds at Point of Sale, and effectively they make the handheld sort of payment systems, which is predominantly used in the APAC region, in particular Australia and New Zealand. So what's the news? The news is that this Hedera council member, Eftpos, has launched its own homegrown digital wallet reward system on an app they own called BEEM IT, particularly for Australia. So digital wallets are going mainstream in Australia thanks to Eftpos, a Hedera governing council member. Now, unfortunately, this article does not state whether or not Eftpos is actually using Hashgraph or its ecosystem to develop this infrastructure for the app. However, it seems somewhat likely that that may be the case, considering they are a council member, and that is what has enabled them to have this exposure to the blockchain, or the Hashgraph. As we all know, the Hashgraph is not a blockchain, it's a better, more robust version of the blockchain. Now, one of the big things about this as well for Eftpos, if we have a look at the number of users, they actually have nearly 1 million terminals throughout the Australian region, and they've BEEM IT itself, the app which will be utilising or have this wallet feature, has nearly 1.4 million users. So if they are using Hashgraph, this is immediately potentially 1.4 million users that have the power of Hedera at their fingertips, and we could see an explosion in the TPS on the main net. So some big news here anyway for a council member, and potentially even bigger news for Hedera again if they are using Hashgraph. A lot of these big enterprise companies at the moment are developing these apps and metaverse plays, etc., aren't really talking about the technology behind the scenes that they're using. Another piece of Hedera news over on Twitter here, we can see that 𝗟𝗘𝗙𝗘𝗥𝗥𝗔𝗟𝗦 has said they are using Hedera for their inventory management system, point of sale system, and their sales channel integration. So again, this is another enterprise scale usage of Hedera and the Hashgraph technology. So if we flick over, this was actually the job listing that was published on Upwork, which we can see here. They're looking for someone that specialises in Ember.js, WebAssembly, native app, distributed, decentralized dApps using Hedera Hashgraph. So again, another company that's exploiting the benefits of Hedera, which is some fantastic news. 𝗟𝗘𝗙𝗘𝗥𝗥𝗔𝗟𝗦, if you guys don't know, they produce a lot of these sort of games that enable people to pick them up. So Magic the Gathering, Pokemon, and sort of other types of board games and miniatures and figurines, etc. So pretty cool that they're using that for their inventory management in particular. Again, because it's in the mutable ledger, it's really a scalable solution for them in order to track that via the Hashgraph. The last thing I wanted to touch on quickly as well was QUANT. So I've seen some comments previously. Now, naturally, Hedera and QUANT are not competition. Hedera is a layer 1 technology and competes with other cryptos such as Ethereum and Solana, for example. QUANT is more of a sort of interoperability type of chain or cryptocurrency. So they're designed at basically creating the integrations between. They're more comparable to Chainlink rather than Hedera. So there is a future in which both of these can coexist. Anyway, I've touched on the social media volumes before of Hedera, but just a brief mention of what's happening with Quant recently, and the sentiment is massively up. So the bullish sentiment up nearly 130% on the week. The social volume again is up nearly 120%, and the social dominance is up nearly 222% as well. So some fantastic news being shared via Quant, and it's seeing some decent price movement as a result of that after its recent pullback, particularly as well as we start looking into Bitcoin pushing higher as it did on the weekly close. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed this Hedera update and a brief touch on Quant as well. If you like these videos, please drop a like, drop a comment if you've got something to say, and consider subscribing to see more future content like this. Cheers for watching, guys.